So, good day to be in here and talk about some of the things that are happening in the real estate industry. And when I was listening to the little boxy thing, I picked up on a phrase there that was sphere-centered technology. The importance of your sphere of influence. All right. So anyway, I was also listening to Monica talking about this in our 45th year, and I actually got my broker's license in August of 1974. So this is my 45th year in business. And over the years, we've seen lots of changes. But almost always, those changes were in your local market. How many have heard the phrase, real estate is local? Yeah, it is. We have our local markets. But the last few years, especially the last 5 to 7, say, we've seen something in the real estate industry that we didn't see prior to that. And that was the entrance of Wall Street. Wall Street pouring billions of dollars into the real estate business, looking at the commission dollars that are generated in the millions of transactions that take place every year. Now, what allows Wall Street to do that? Well, obviously the internet. In the past, Wall Street was more along with franchises. And franchises, are a different way of marketing, but still, it was focused on your local markets. But what they know, and what we're going to illustrate and try to get you thinking about today, is Wall Street knows the importance of being first. If they can get to us first, they know they've got a better chance of controlling the consumer. I'm going to give you a little anecdote. Because I believe that most people try to be fair. That's just, we want to be fair. Earlier this month, my wife and I, we were married 31 years ago in St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. Wow. So we said, at some point, we want to take a trip back there, maybe look at the church that we were married in. So we said, maybe our 30th anniversary. Well, we missed it by a year, but we made it this year. Well, I was getting off the ship, and if you've been on a cruise, what are the two things you mainly do? Eat and shop, right? You're always able to eat, and then you stop at all these ports, and you get off, and you got all these little stores and things, and you shop. So I needed a hat. I was wearing a hat, but I wanted a wide-brimmed hat for future. So we stop at one of the first stores we get off, and we look at things. I see this nice hat. That's pretty nice. My wife said, I want to get a couple other things. Should we just get them here? I said, no. I don't want to carry them around all day. I don't want to walk for a way and carry this hat around. And I said, so we go, obviously we stop in a bunch of other stores. We actually get by the church that we got married in. Unfortunately, it was closed because of damage from the hurricane a couple of years ago. But anyway, we were able to see it. That was very nice. And so we're going back, and we stopped at a couple other places, and my wife was saying, well, that looks nice, that looks nice. And I said, well, it's not really nicer than that's anything. And that first store we stopped in, that would only be fair if we go back there. And so we went back into that store on the way back to the ship, and the girl that had waited on us said, oh, you're back. I said, yeah, we're back. We want to get those things we looked at earlier. I don't think I'm different than anybody else. I think a lot of people have that same attitude. So when we think about what's happening to the real estate industry, what we have today that we never faced before are what we call the disruptors. The Zillows of the world, Realtor.com, Trulia, OpCity. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to get between you and what used to be your loyal consumer. Because they know if they can get there first, they've got a better chance of getting them away from you. And let's face it, they've done a wonderful job with buyers. Any marketplace you go, if you go on the internet and search for property, I don't care where, who's going to be number one? Zillow. Because that's what buyers have done. They've made Zillow the number one search site for real estate. Now, is Zillow smart enough, because they used us to do it, where'd they get all the information to make them the number one search site? From us. But that's a different story for a different day. Well, guess what? Today they're coming after your sellers. And Wall Street is smarter than we are. And they have a lot more money than we do. So what are we starting to see with the disruptors in the marketplace today? How do you know what an AVM is? Automated valuation model. Anybody been online to look at the value of their home or other homes? Okay. I looked at my neighbor's home, and I looked at I looked at Zillow, I looked at Realtor.com, I looked at Homestead. And there were three values. One was 265,000, one was 297,000, the other was 323,000. Wow, that's really helpful, isn't it? But if I'm a consumer, why am I looking on those sites? Because I might be thinking about selling. And of course, what is up there on every site? Need more information? Need an agent? Click here. Because they know that if they get there first and they can get you to one of their agents who is willing to pay a fee, then they've got a better chance of, again, controlling the transaction, getting that consumer away from you. The one that, how much is our home worth? Why don't we call Tim and have him come out and take a look? Well, no, first thing they're going to do before they do that is go online. All right. How many of you have heard of iBuyers? You know what iBuyers are? Internet buyers, which means you have a home to sell. Here, we'll have an offer for you in the next 48 hours. Click here, put in the information about your property, and we'll have an offer for you. You may or may not consider the offer. It's probably going to be less than you're going to get if you put it on the open market, but for the convenience, speed, this shit might be something you want to consider. All right, and that's being rolled out in many communities. Generally speaking, it starts on the coasts and it moves into the middle of the country. That's the way real estate trends go. But let's stop and think about that. You think these companies really are interested in buying a house and then turning around and reselling that house to make a few $1,000s profit? It's possible, but think of the work that goes into that. But what else can they do? They get a seller who asks for an offer, which is too low, but they say, well, we can hook you up with a real estate agent who would be more than willing to do what? Pay us a 35% referral fee, make thousands of dollars just by getting that homeowner to click the button that says, yeah, give me more information. So that's what we're starting to see, and we need to recognize that because the idea of being first is a very important concept. And we really need to focus on that, which got me thinking about the program that we've been touting for the last few years now, which is the Ninja program. We first learned about the Ninja program, I think it was 2012 or 2013. Larry Kendall, one of the owners of the group, the real estate company in Fort Collins, Colorado. And we had a couple Ninja installations. In fact, how many Ninjas do I have in the room? Quite a few hands. We just had 7 of our people go to Tracy and Everett, South Bend. I know Ryan's here, I know Drew's here, I know Aaron's here. Hope I'm not missing anybody. I'm not going to put you on the spot. Sorry. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but you know, I think everybody told me they had a very productive 4-day program. Learned a lot of things. And just as so I don't forget at the end, we would encourage you to think about attending the Ninja installation in August. I think it's the week of August 20th with Carpenter Realtors in Indianapolis. We give some nice concessions for those who want to go. So we'll get you more information about that as well. But when thinking about the Ninja program, what did I start to think? Why is it so effective? Why is the group, year in and year out, one of the top companies in the country when it comes to per agent productivity? And they talk about, well, because they work the system. And in thinking about the system is really designed to put you first. We do the fast start, I'm talking with newer agents, and we're talking about your sphere of influence and how you need to be contacting your sphere of influence. I often get the reaction, well, yeah, but none of my family want to sell, or they're not in the buying market. I want to find people that actually want to sell or want to buy. No, you need to find anybody because you need to position yourself as being the expert so that when they are ready to buy or sell, or if they know somebody who wants to buy or sell, they're going to refer them to you, the crux of the system. So we're going to talk about 2 aspects of the Ninja program. First, Tracy's going to talk about what we call the mental side of it, your mindset, if you will. And then I'm going to give you or share with you some actual physical things that you can do to increase the likelihood that you'll be there first. And hopefully, it gives you a way of counteracting those outside influences that are really designed to take your clients or your sphere of influence away from you. Tracy?
Okay, so my side is mental, of course. It's usually mental with me. But the Ninja selling Ninja Path, The goal for Ninja, for those who haven't been or those that might need a refresher, is that it is there to increase your income per hour so you can have a life. So I think that sounds pretty good, because we all know those, maybe some of us in the room, that spend a lot of time maybe kind of doing some activities that maybe aren't bringing a lot of income per hour to our business, and therefore it's taking and draining away from our life. So I'm sitting because I've got a little story to share. Kind of hurt my foot, but those of you who know me pretty well know that I've had 3 foot surgeries. I have screws in my feet, not my head, but in my feet, and I have some knee issues. So what did I do last week? I went on vacation to the Smoky Mountains. And I decide, at almost 54 years old, with all these ailments and not being in the best physical shape, to hike in a mountain with bears, which I did see. So my husband, who is 67, he may kill me for saying that, but, you know, Glenn knows he's 67. So my husband and I, who he has gained 35 pounds since he's married me 5 years ago, we were there to celebrate our 5th wedding anniversary, decided to take this mountain hike. We go with a small bottle of water. We had eaten a cold piece of pizza before we left. Because we thought, well, you know what, we're going to take this little hike, and then we're going to come out, we're going to go to Dollywood, we're going to have a really grand old time. What we didn't do was our research. So we entered the mountains, and started walking, and we saw some people out there. Okay, fine, there was no map. I guess I could have Googled it ahead of time, but I didn't think, you know, to do so. And we entered, and it was pretty rugged. I had on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and some tennis shoes, and he as well had the same. We didn't have any gear on, you know, rugged boots and things like that. And we start going and going and going and going over mountains, like rocks and boulders and streams, logs. And we're into this about 45 minutes. Now it's about an hour, and I see some people, and they've got all this gear with them. They've got water, they've got snacks, people are over the side, they're looking at us, we have no bug spray, I'm swatting bugs. I'm thinking I did have a GoPro on, because it wouldn't have to been edited. I'd have played it for you today, but it would have been edited quite heavily. So we keep going through this mountain range, and finally I just can't take it anymore. I mean, we're probably into this about an hour and a half now with no end in sight, and people would say to me, oh, you're getting closer. You're about 45 minutes. Well, 45 minutes for me is like an hour and 45 minutes. So, then another person would say to us, oh, you got another 30 minutes. And we ran into this young couple that they were in their 20s and they were having a hard time. And at some point they were coming back, and we thought, oh, how was it? Was it worth it? Well, we didn't make it. Because we didn't make it. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Well, at this point, with no water, it's 80 plus degrees, and I have no water. I found a stick, and this got me through. This was my tool, and that's what Ninja is. It's a tool and it's a system. This was my system to get me through, and it took me over 3 hours to get to the waterfall. About 3 hours and 20 minutes. It took me about 3.5 hours to get down.
Laurel Falls?
It was Rainbow Falls. It was Rainbow Falls. It should have taken 3 to 5 hours. It took us 7.5 hours with no water and over 80 degrees. I shouldn't be saying this in front of my boss, because he's going to think, well, who do I have as the general manager? It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was the mindset. And that's what Ninja is. You have to have a good mindset. And those that have worked with me, I've worked in many of the offices we have here, know that my mindset isn't always in the best place. And I have people like Wendy, and many of you have brought me up. Diane this morning, Martha, Bruce Ann brought me up this morning, and it made me feel good to let me know that, hey, you know, they know I don't like to speak in public. Hey, you're just talking to friends, you're not really in public. But it's mindset. So that's what Ninja really is. You have to have 3 skill sets in Ninja. You have to have mindset, a skill set, and action. Without the mindset, though, to me, the skill set and the action really isn't going to work as effectively for you. Would you agree? Yes. So, in hiking, which I probably will never do again, I shouldn't say that, because after I was crippled and came back and burned all those calories off, I ran to McDonald's. Well, I didn't run. I crawled up to the car, which was another mile up. My Fitbit's registered 26,000 steps, so it was over 12 miles. Okay, so this was no small feat for me. So we go to McDonald's. I had a Big Mac, a cheeseburger, an iced tea, unsweetened of course, a fruit punch because they ran out of iced tea, and a big cookie. So I probably ate everything that I just burned off, but nevertheless, I didn't care. My mindset was I didn't care. But again, without the mindset, you aren't going to be as successful in this business that you could be. You're not going to be as effective. Aristotle said, we become what we do repeatedly. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, it is a habit, and that could be good or bad. And had I had better habits in my life, the wealth probably wouldn't have been so difficult for me. Jeff Olson, author of The Slight Edge, Turning Simple Disciplines into Massive Success, says, your life becomes a printout resulting from the small decisions you make each day that are compounded over time. And I think that is so true. So in Ninja, the reason why I like Ninja is because it is practical. We've had a lot of different programs over the years. I've been here almost 25 years. I've seen a lot of programs. Ninja is something it's very simple, and you can use it in your daily life. So your mindset, no matter what it is, we all have struggles, we all have difficulties, but if your mindset is right, it's going to make your life a lot easier. Let's face it, we're all in pretty good shape here in this room. I'm not talking physical for myself, but I am talking about we're in a good place, and I think we need to show that and be grateful. So again, on my vacation, I bought this bracelet that says thankful, because that's my word of the year. I noticed even before I bought it, I keep using the word thankful. I need to be more thankful, and I think if we're more thankful, we'll have more business, and our lives will be a lot easier, no matter what we're doing. So again, the reason I like Ninja is because it's something that you can take and use in your everyday life. There's 3 key success habits in Ninja. Success habit number 1 is your daily gratitudes. I was never one for daily gratitudes. Actually, when I took the Ninja class, I would poke Wendy and say, oh gosh, I can't believe I have to write this. And she'd say, just write it, be grateful. And she was right. She was a great influence for me with being grateful. I have a gratitude box now at home. And I started it last year, and I read what I was grateful for over the year, last New Year's Eve, and I started it again this year. And it could be something as small. For me, it'll be, I'm grateful that I didn't pass out when I was speaking at the company meeting. That might go in my box. Number 2 is to write 2 personal notes daily. This is all part of Ninja, but it will make you feel better. When I came back to work yesterday on a gloomy Monday morning, like the song says, Monday, what is it? Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. Sorry, Ron, even here it gets me down sometimes. Okay. So I came back to work, and there was a personal note written to me from George, and I really appreciated it. And I don't want to speak for George, but I assume that what he wrote in there, he felt good by doing that. Again, it's not hate mail that you're writing. If you're writing these personal notes, you're feeling good about what you're writing, and you're making someone else feel good as well. So thank you, George, for that note. You helped me on my Monday morning. And then success habit number 3 for the business would be to focus on your hot list. What is your hot list? Your hot list for agents would be people that are going to write an offer with you, or purchase or sell real estate in the next 30, 60, or 90 days. And how do you find that? Well, with social media, it's so much easier now. You'll find that those of you who have taken Ninja have heard the term Ford, family, recreation, occupation, and dreams. That is so true. And you can pull that information right from your social media accounts and see what people are doing. When there's a life change in a family, there's usually a real estate related transaction embedded there. So if someone is graduating from college and moving on, maybe the family's going to downsize. When someone's getting married, there may be a purchase of a home. Unfortunately, if there's a death, there's going to be possibly the sale of that. But you're there to help those people. Even though that can be a sad transaction, you as the trusted advisor, I should say, you're there to help them. And people are going to choose to do business with people that they trust, that they know, and that they like. And so you are their trusted advisor if you know about their family, recreation, occupation, and dreams. It's not just a database they teach you in Ninja. It's to really know who your people are, who your sphere really is. Anybody can have a mailing list, but those people that are going to work with you are going to work with you because you make them feel special and you care about them. Let's see, what else do I have here? The things that you can write in these cards, I know I've had people say to me, well, what is it you say? Well, you can always say thank you for something. You know, there's something to be thankful for. You can congratulate someone again. You know, someone, this is graduation time. Hey, I heard little Johnny's graduating kindergarten or he's graduating college. I had time, passed. Or hey, I was just thinking about you. Most people like to be thought of. I know that I do, and I appreciated my personal note that I received, so that not somebody was thinking about me. They say in Ninja, what you focus on expands. There was a video that I watched, and maybe many of you have seen this one before. I've seen it at different meetings, and I wish I had it here, but if you could visualize for a second, I'm sure you're still visualizing me in the woods. But it was two teams. It was two sets of teenagers, and one set had white t-shirts on, and one set had black t-shirts on. And the video asked us to watch the kids in the white t-shirts pass the ball. And you were supposed to count how many times that ball was passed. So I was counting 1, 2, 3, and I got to